we were talking about if our agent's sad this time of year. Like
our agent's sad?
As people are coming in here, this is the Emotional Gymnastics for Real Estate Agents series. What's going on, guys? We're getting ready to go live on Facebook, so give us a minute to queue up live. It's Jim Godwin and myself.
What's up, guys?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. We're talking today about our realtor's SAD, single tier. No, SAD like S.A.D, Seasonal Affective Disorder, long winters, cold showers. How does that all tie together? That's what we're talking about today.
And why is it important?
And why is it important? All right, so we'll wait till we go live on Facebook, guys. If you're just coming in, if you got questions, go ahead and put them in as we go through this, go ahead and put them in the Q&A box or the chat box. Let us know. I will keep an eye on those boxes. All right, so now we are live. We are talking today. This is the Emotional Gymnastics for Real Estate Agents series. If you're just joining us, we're talking about if our agent's sad this time of year. Like
our agent's sad?
Not like sad, like single tier, but like seasonal affective disorder, right? So I'm in San Diego. I didn't even know what this thing was. It's 70 degrees all year round here. And I was talking to Jim the other day. So Jim, who's in Kansas City, I'm a agent in San Diego. Jim's an agent in Kansas City. We should have someone joining us from Houston in a minute. And we were talking about the fact that when the weather gets cold, days get short, your client's emotions change, your emotions change. And how do you deal with it? What do you do? So we made a list of things and we just want to blow through it. So tell us more, Jim, in terms of SAD, seasonal affective disorder. I'm in San Diego. I don't even know what that is. Like, is it a real thing?
Not for you, apparently. Not for you. When you can walk outside of your house and go to the beach, you don't get that sad often, do you?
No.
I mean, when the sun is literally up for 15 minutes here every day, it's a little bit hard to stay happy and upbeat. All you want to do is hibernate. It's a real thing. It really is a real thing. You wake up and it's 5 degrees here today. And it's overcast most of the time in the winter here. So, we're not, and the days are very short. The sun is setting around 4:30. And so we have shortened days that are very cold. With not much sun, and that over a period of 3 or 4 months, that does end up affecting a large portion of the country.
Absolutely. And so, do you think it's more impactful to yourself or to your clients, or both? Like, do you see it on both sides?
Well, people feed off of you, right? So if I'm in that space of being, trying to get myself up and happy and, in a mood of a sunny Southern California day, my clients can feed off of that. If I'm in the energy of happy and excited and, not in that seasonal affective mode, then my clients, can feed off it. So I think it's important both ways. It's important for me to see in other people, but it's also really important for me to see it myself.
Yeah. And now we're joined with Priyanka. Hey, Priyanka, what's going on? You are on mute, but you can unmute yourself. She is an amazing agent from Houston, or broker from Houston. So we are, just to catch up, Priyanka, and anyone who's just joining in, we are talking about our realtor's SAD this time of year, seasonal affective disorder, ways to combat it, how to do it. Like, is this a real? So I said in California, not so much a factor. Although it still does apply. I do have some clients that, even though our weather's warmer, it still does apply somewhat. So it's interesting for me to learn and discuss. How about in Texas? Is this a factor in Texas?
Yes, like right now, we are preparing for Armageddon because we don't get cold and we are supposed to have temperatures around between 8 and 18 degrees next week. It's going to be snow, ice, it's gloomy. But apart from that, we have a lot of rainy days, right? So when it's cloudy and gloomy, it affects us. And I'm one of those persons that has that. One time I was in Europe and I always loved going to Europe, but that particular meeting project was in December. I went there happy, and 1 week later, I was calling back and calling my managers. I was in corporate America. I was like, get me out of here. And they have to come and install special lights in my office and my hotel rooms because I was really, really depressed. The amount of sunlight I was getting, like sun will come up around 10:30 and set around 3:30. That wasn't enough sunlight for me. And it really affects the emotionally, it's a chemical imbalance, right? Some people get more affected by it. I get affected by full moon. So once a month, it's like when the full moon comes around, 3 or 4 days, I don't sleep very well. It just really affects me. And I know a lot of people who get affected by it, and you can't do much about it except what I'm talking about, like change the light bulbs. It helps a little bit. It doesn't help a whole lot.
Those are some things that we were brainstorming on. So Jim mentioned something that he started doing, which sounds totally counterintuitive, but cold showers in winter, even when it's cold outside. So some people watching this may already know a little bit about cold therapy. If you do, chime in. We'd love to see what questions you have. If you've never heard of this, Jim, why are you taking cold showers in the winter?
Well, if you ask my wife, because I'm crazy, but no, it's an incredible practice I started a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, of there's a ton of scientific data that backs this up, that cold therapy, whether it be getting in a cold shower or taking an ice bath or being outside in really cold temperatures, is extremely beneficial for the mind and the body. And, so some of the main benefits are it changes your body's physiologically immediately. So all of the hormones in your bodies just start to immediately balance. So if you're out of balance, if you're feeling upset or sad or over emotional about something, the cold just snaps you back out of it and balances your hormones almost instantaneously. It lowers your heart rate down. So if you do this consistently for, a couple of weeks to a couple of month period, your average daily heartbeat will drop by like 20%. So if your heart rate is dropping, that means your blood pressure is dropping, and all of your internal organs are working on a more efficient level. So, those are just some of the benefits, but it puts you in such a good mood. It is horrible when you're in a shower and it's warm and you look at the dial and you say to yourself, I'm going to turn this thing from nice, warm, comfy, hot water to freezing cold. Everything in your body is telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. This is the dumbest thing. Why are you doing this? And for the first 20 seconds, it's horrible. It is awful. It sucks. But after that, if you can last past that point, after that, it is the most incredible feeling in the world. Like when you get out and you're finally out of the shower or an ice bath or whatever, isn't it like an extreme state of euphoria that lasts for hours after that? I can't explain it, but it's a good feeling.
I love it. If anyone watching does cold showers, and how cold does water have to be coming out of the faucet? Or you said ice bath also?
It depends. If you're new to this, warm water might be cold for you, and you want to do this gradually. You want your body to acclimate to the shock of the coldness of it. So, you want to start by doing it in short bursts. So when I first started doing this, I would take a regular warm shower, and at the end of it, I would turn it cold and just stand there for 10 seconds. And I would do a fully cold shower for 10 seconds for a week period, and then I would bump it up another 10 seconds and do 20 seconds. And I did that for months until I was able to take a shower without hot water at all. And when you get to that point where you're in cold water for more than a few minutes, your skin, because all of the blood in your body is rushing to your skin. It's rushing to the outside of your body to keep you warm, right? To keep you from, getting frostbite. The body is sensing that something is going on, and blood rushes to your skin, opens up all of the capillaries in your skin. And so once that happens, your skin actually starts to feel warm. So you're in a shower that's freezing cold, and after about 2 or 3 minutes, you feel warm, or it feels normal. Interesting. And then you're just in there, and it's just an amazing feeling that whole time. And then you get out and you start to reacclimate to the room temperature, and you're like, oh, I really wasn't, warm. It was just my body doing that. It's pretty cool.
Huh. Have you ever done this, Priyanka?
So yes, in India, part of the daily practice, especially if you are into yoga, is taking cold showers. Especially yogis, they always go to the river and dip in. So you're supposed to get up before sunrise around 4:30, go to the river, dip in the cold water, and absolutely right. So scientists did the study. You know that I never take anything on right. And growing up in India, I always fought all this nonsense until I came to America, and then I was like, like there are scientific reasons behind it. And MD Anderson was doing the study. That's how I got into it, and then went back to India to study like what's going on. He's absolutely right. It's no magical thing going on. It's a very practical thing that happens. Like your capillaries, they are just like opening up when they're sensing the cold and sending all that water to you. Same thing happened to your brain. All those chemical reactions that are happening are just basically it's sending your body into a shock, right? So body says like, oh, something is going on. This is not normal. I need to get that fight and flight mode kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it becomes very alert. It's sending blood to the right, like, all your extremities, your body, your skin is sensing it. So your heart is pumping. And so you're getting that reaction. And then your brain is getting active because it's just like, okay, what's going on? We need to get into the survival mode, right? So all those chemical reactions that Jim is talking about are real. And that's why you feel so great. But it's getting to that level. So I usually do warm showers and then end it with a cold shower. I don't just do complete cold. I love warm showers. But when I was in Europe, that was another thing I learned. Over there, they do like shock therapy, basically. You go to a spa, and I loved it over there. I wish they do it over here. And they will have like chilled cold water, and they will have salt water, like really warm salt water. You almost float in it, and then really warm sauna. So you go from different like cold to cold kind of thing. Your body's going into different temperatures. Mm-hmm. So when you go to the heat, like really hot room, or hot sauna kind of thing, it just sweats all the toxins out. Then you do it with like really chilled water. It shocks your body and you go like, oh my God, kind of thing. Then go there, back again. And if you do it once a week, you feel amazing, right? And we don't have those practices over here in this country. And I wish we do. Mm-hmm. This is just very natural way of living and maintaining your body and mind.
Yeah, and the whole idea with this guy is tying it into real estate is the better mindset you're in, the more able you are to be in that positive frame of mind, the easier it is to work with your clients to get deals moving forward. So if people are in the wintertime and they're watching this, like, do you think this would help that seasonal affective disorder?
Like if you've been doing Zoom buyer presentations for 3 hours straight and you look outside and it's like, it's gray and hazy and the sun hasn't been out all day and you feel heavy and tired and fatigued. If you take 15 minutes and jump in a cold shower and come back out, you're going to be like you just woke up and be just as enthusiastic with that fifth or sixth buyer that you're presenting to than you did with your first one.
Do you find that you have to do more of this stuff in the winter though? Like, is it like not like you just do it once in the morning and it's good? Like Priyanka, when you were in Europe, or is it like throughout the day you have to kind of like when you were really feeling down, you have to recalibrate yourself multiple times?
It's really hard for people like me. So it's not like you jump in the shower, you do this, it resets you immediately. For people like us, the chemical reactions that are happening in our body much stronger. It's not like a mild effect that you can overtake by just doing that. We have to in summer, I get up at 4:30 in the morning, going till like 10:30, 11:30, no problems. In winter, when it's dark and gloomy, usually I'm shut down. I don't get up or I don't get active until like 6:37 in the morning. By 4:30, I'm like done. I'm just feeling so tired and out of it. And I sleep more. It's just like my body requires more sleep in winter than in summer. Summer, I'm like 4 hours of sleep. I'm good, ready to go conquer the world. In winter, it's 8 to 10 hours some days.
So let's talk about that. Do you hibernate and do your clients hibernate, right? So are you changing the hours you're working with clients then?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. Okay. I do, and everybody knows about it. It's just like in summer, I will answer your calls. I will talk to you around 10:30, 11. Winter, you're calling me. I was like, nope, I'll talk to you in the morning. And they know about it. Like, I'm a very open person. It's not like my clients don't see a fake Priyanka or like, this is a public persona Priyanka and this is a private Priyanka. They get whatever Priyanka that is. And we have talked about, right? So like right now, what's happening is like everybody's preparing for this next week. For 1 week, we are going to have really, really cold temperature. it's already dark and gloomy. It has been raining for 2 or 3 days. We are already feeling that weighted down. So I'm getting ready. So I have my bag going on, and I already posted on my Facebook. If the temperatures are below 50, don't bother to call me or contact me because I'm not answering. I'm going in hibernation. And my clients are responding. They're already responding on Facebook. It's we know that already. Right? And it's true.
But do they hibernate too, or are they trying to still live their life and do their things?
Yeah, so you have all kinds of clients. Some of my clients are there right on the same page. Other clients are yay, snow is coming. We have been waiting for it. Other clients are just I'm just going to sit and work from home. And I was I'm going to stay in bed and I'm not even getting out of bed. And I have a bag ready. I literally have my bag ready for those 1 week when temperatures are going to be down. I have extra warm socks that my clients actually sent me. See, my doggy socks? It's thick. I'm ready. It's coming. And I know we have central heating and everything, but I'm still mentally, it's oh my God, it's going to be so cold kind of thing.
Yep.
So.
Go ahead, Jim.
People have developed over the years really good ways of combating this stuff, but there's a reason why it happens scientifically. I mean, do you guys know what circadian rhythms are?
Yep.
Sure, but
my body is very aligned with that.
Yeah.
But tell me, in case someone watching doesn't know what circadian rhythms are, give us the basics of circadian rhythms.
The basics of a circadian rhythm is that it's your body's internal clock. In our internal clock, it's on a 24-hour sleep-wake cycle. And humans have evolved to sleep and wake up with the sun. So our natural cycle is wake up with the sun, go to bed when the sun sets. We live in a society where that's impossible. And plus we've developed ways with stimulants, caffeine, alcohol, all of these things to keep us from our natural sleep-wake cycles. But the more we're in line with that, the less tired we're going to feel and the less we're going to have to rely on artificial chemicals to be able to stay awake and alert.
And that's my problem. My body is very, very much aligned with nature, right? The higher the sun, warmer the sun, my body is very active. And that's what happens. I see complete change, winter to summer, and then changing the countries and going from one climate to another. Same thing was happening. My friends joke, if Priyanka goes to Alaska, she's not going to sleep for 6 months because it's just seriously, if sun is out, Priyanka is up and running.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. In the winter, by 6:30, I'm exhausted. In the summer, I'm alive and alert until 9, 10 o'clock. And what's happening there? The only thing that's different is that the sun is out longer.
Right. And so to put that back in terms of real estate, then, even if your clients are not as sensitive as you guys, there probably still is that circadian rhythm going on, that if you're going to have an intense conversation about multiple offers and which one they're accepting, or if you're trying to write an offer and figure out what to do, probably 7, 8 o'clock at night, if that would normally be the time you'd like to do business as a realtor, if that's your pattern, be conscious of whether that works for your clients. Maybe your clients are burnt out by that point, right? And you're getting frustrated, angry responses. That's interesting.
Oh, because throughout the year, right? So I'm more of a morning person. 4:30 in the morning, you give me a call, I'm ready to go. I have clients who do not get up until 8:30 in the morning, but they are ready to talk to me at 11:30, 12. It's no, you're not going to get good answers, so don't bother me, kind of thing. And then we find the time. So I know I'm not going to call them until 8:30 just because I'm up at 4:30. If I call them to discuss something, they're going to say, are you crazy? And this is throughout the year. It's not oh, only it's happening in winter and you have to deal with it. So how do you deal with those clients throughout the year? You do exactly the same thing. And I'm very open. I tell them if you call me, you're not going to get my best response because my mind is shut down. I may be awake talking to you, but my mind will be shut down. So let's talk tomorrow. And they're fine with it. Yeah, if it's a multiple offer situation and you have to deal with it, I will get it done. And I have, right? But that time I'm running in adrenaline because that's exciting. When I'm negotiating, that's I love negotiations. So it automatically takes over that.
That doesn't surprise me whatsoever, Priyanka.
Right. So it's if I'm excited about something, I'm not going to sleep. Then I'm just working. But if it's just day-to-day tedious work that you want me to answer or questions you want me to answer, I'm just going to tell you let's wait till tomorrow. I won't answer until I get up in the morning and say hey, miss a call or miss a text or email from you. Here you go.
So what do you do then to stay focused during the winter? Because there's certain things you have to do still, right? Even though you can put off something until tomorrow, what do you do to stay focused during the winter?
So it's just the time that I'm away. I think I accomplish a little bit more in same amount of time in winter because I know that, by 4:35, I will be shut down. It doesn't matter how much I try, right? So my brain is shutting down, my body is shutting down. So when I get up, I'm just like, go kind of thing.
That's exactly what I do too. Like I know that in the winter, I have like my ability to focus is so diminished by the time it gets dark out, which there's still a lot of work hours left after they're dark, right? So the things that are going to be the hardest for me that day, I tackle first because that's going to be the time that I'm most alert and awake and available mentally.
I mean, so being self-aware of your own cycle and how you're affected by this, and because you still have to get things done, matters.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it helps to be aware that this is like a real thing and it exists and people that you work with are going through it too. So just knowing that that's a part of the people that you're working with, that's a part of their physiology is helpful, just to be aware of it.
Interesting. How does exercise play into all this for seasonal affective disorder?
It plays a huge role. I mean, daily activity is going to boost your immune system and your metabolic rate in a way that it will keep you going and active longer than if you're not exercising at all. And when you're stagnant, your blood's not moving, your adrenal glands are not pushing toxins through your body. All that has an effect on your energy levels.
For me, it's more yoga and meditation. I know, Jesse, you're into like running, more physical exercise, and I think, Jim, maybe you too. For me, it's more like slow, rhythmic yoga exercises, and I don't think of more exercise, more like stretching, and then doing that meditation and getting focused in the morning. Only in winter. Summer, I don't need it. So it's really weird. I don't do yoga and meditation throughout the year. I feel the need for it more during winter than in summer. Summer, I'm like, I open my eyes, I'm ready to go. Winter, it's more like, okay, let's get focused, let's get out of bed, let's do things. So more ritualistic, maybe, that gets me going.
Yeah. Diet plays a huge role too. When people, there's like this vicious circle that happens, right? Or vicious cycle that happens when people get tired quicker. They start to look at more, they start to look at like sugary and high fat foods to try to get some energy. If you eat like a lot of sugary foods, you get this like spike of energy, or drink more sugary drinks, you get this spike of energy, and then you crash. People tend to do that more in the winter because they get tired quicker. And so you end up eating, foods that necessarily aren't the best for you. And that creates this extreme spike in blood sugar levels and then a drop, which crashes your energy level.
Interesting.
So I will bring up again the Indian cultural thing. We are very focused on changing our food seasonally, right? Yeah. So winter comes along, there's some kind of a ritual, some kind of festival, and you make all this food, which is kind of transition from your summer food to the fall food, from fall food to the winter food. And you need more energy, so and more sugar and everything, but we eat more complex sugar. So I actually went and bought some dried fruits. So in India, it's very common to see nuts, like, you will see almonds and walnuts and pecans kind of thing. And then you will have dried fruits like dried apples, dried peaches kind of thing, always available for snack. And those are the complex, like during winter, you need more fat and more sugar, but drinking coffee and like plain white sugar kind of thing is where you crash. But if you are eating those kind of dried fruits, it has a lot of sugar in it, right? It's dried fruits, so all concentrated sugar, but it's a complex sugar. So the way it's breaking down is slowly releasing the energy. And same thing with the nuts. It's providing you that extra energy, but healthy energy. So that's something I still do.
So those are winter foods?
In different seasons.
Are those winter foods, the dried in Indian culture?
Right. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to eat it during summer.
Okay.
Yeah. That style of eating is Ayurvedic. If people want to look that up, that's what that's called.
Interesting.
And this is part of like culture that I appreciate more now. like how people live in different cultures. And I think it's very much similar in South America, because I was talking to some of my friends. They also have different foods that are only available, like, winter food or summer food. Like, oh, we cook this in summer, not in winter. So I think ancient cultures kind of have that. They have figured out. We just don't talk about it. We just do it as like, oh, that's how we do things. But when people have moved to this country, all those things have kind of lost, and we just do our own thing. And I do the same thing, like, after moving over here, I have American way, get caffeine, get sugar kind of thing. And I'm rediscovering this healthier lifestyle. And I was like, dang, now I have to go and tell everybody in, like, my family and my grandparents, like, they were right.
Well, and that's part of the context of your habits, right? If the people you're surrounded by are a certain way, you're going to tend to end up in the same patterns. Right? It makes sense. Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering if that's part. I mean, I know there's the physiological reasons behind, being a little more tired or sluggish in the winter. I'm just wondering if that's also, part of it, where everyone starts to get down, and then that feeds everyone else being down because you're around. It's just kind of self-fulfilling cycle.
There's the whole energy down for the whole group.
Yeah. Interesting. Back to the cold showers and that. You made a comment earlier, Jim, before we went live, that I was laughing about. In case people wanted to go research more about this, you said your wife and your kiddos are going outside with like layers and layers and layers of jackets on. And what were you wearing?
I was wearing a hat and gloves and swimming trunks.
So it's cold outside. You're wearing swim trunks. You're walking around in shorts. Why are you walking around in shorts?
I wouldn't say it's cold outside.
It's freezing?
I mean, 15 degrees is a little different than cold.
It's freezing. Okay. So he's in Kansas City. So this comes from, is this pulling from the Wim Hof method?
Partly, yeah.
Okay. So if people, I don't know if anybody watching this, chat in the box if you've heard of Wim Hof. If not, you could look him up. How do you spell the name? It's like
W-I-M-H-O-F.
W-I-M-H-O-F. There's like a book and a documentary and all sorts of interesting stuff on Wim. Why are you walking around?
The Iceman.
The Iceman?
Yeah, he holds like 27 world records for doing crazy stuff because of these methods that he now is teaching. Like, he's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro in his underwear. He holds the record for the longest swim underwater in the polar ice cap. He was underwater so long swimming that his retinas froze and he went blind for like an hour and a half.
I remember that because I read it because you sent me the book. There's a really good book called What Doesn't Kill Us that Jim actually, you sent me that book. So that's right. So thank you, Jim. That's how I know all about Wim. But all right. So you're kind of reframing the winter for yourself and saying, okay, if it's gonna be this cold outside, let's at least take advantage of it. Is that where that comes from, or why are you walking around in shorts?
Yeah. Well, first of all, because it just feels good. Like it just makes me feel really good. It's like taking a happy pill, and I don't have any of the side effects. But also, like, just knowing that, like, with the research on this stuff, that it actually affects your body like intensely. Like, one of the coolest studies that I read that Wim Hof did in his book, they mentioned this, is that he took people that have never done this breathing and this cold exposure exercise, and he took them brand new people that were just plucked out of nowhere. They've never done any of this stuff. He took them for 7 days, just 7 days, and had them do his breath work and his cold therapy. And after 7 days, they went into a lab and they injected all of them with autoimmune diseases. And none of them tested positive for any of it. So he's affecting what we thought wasn't affected, what we could not affect, which is the autonomic nervous system.
Interesting.
He's able to tap into something that we never thought we were able to do. We always thought that we never had control over our autonomic nervous system. And through breath work and through cold weather therapy, he's affecting this system in a way that science never thought was possible.
I mean, every time we talk about it, it inspires me. Like, all right, I want to, I've never taken on doing the exercises. I want to try it. Have you ever done it, Priyanka? Have you looked into this?
So again, in yoga world, yogis in Mount Everest area, right? So they live 365 days over there. They only wear one cloth kind of thing. So they are always, not naked, just like, their loincloth, and that's all they have. And they're living in snow and mountains. They are bathing into freezing water. Lot of studies over the years have been done, especially European, when India was under British control, right? They've tried to like, what the heck was going on? These people can lay on nails. They can go underwater, like what Jim is talking. So all those things that he's talking about, for me, I haven't read that book, but I'm very aware and know people who do this regularly. That's their lifestyle. And they are doing it more for spiritual reasons, but like than setting the world record. But yes, human body is very much capable, and they don't get sick. They live for years. Like, there are yogis out there that people have met and interviewed that are over 100 years old. And all they do is like bathe in like, freezing water and live in snow and just meditate and eat naturally. And that's it, kind of thing. So.
Yeah, these are ancient methods that just have been redeveloped for modern society so that people actually do them again.
It's so cool.
Yeah. So it's like, it's taking all the mystique out of it. And instead of it being this like big woo-woo thing that you have to believe in a certain thing, or you have to fall in line with a certain religion, it's taking all of that out of the equation and saying, just get out there, get in the cold and breathe. Yeah. That's it. Just do that.
And I mean, it's funny you say modernizing, because I mean, Wim Hof, I was looking, there's even an app now. There's literally a Wim Hof app that you can follow along.
I use the app every day.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah. When this webinar is done, I'm gonna go use the app. I downloaded it and never used it.
It's very helpful.
And that's the whole thing we're doing with here, guys, to kind of pull it all together. Is we're looking for ways, and I'm not saying you need to take your clients and make them download the Wim Hof app and tell your clients to get outside, but it's kind of a fun thing to talk about. Right.
I mean, imagine if you took your clients outside to sign a contract in just, swimming trunks or something like that. They would never forget you.
Totally. It'd be very authentic. Jim, I want you to do that and then take pictures and put them on Facebook.
I'm going to video it.
All right, cool. You could be the Iceman realtor of Kansas City.
That can be a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So before we wrap this up, we got a few more minutes before we wrap it up. Is there anything else, you guys, that we missed in terms of daily routines in the winter, sun exposure? We didn't talk much about sun exposure. Anything else you guys want to add on any of those?
I spend just more time outside during winter, because I know getting out there and doing my work outside in the sun just gets me more perked up, and it lasts a little longer. And I know it's all chemical reactions, physiological effects that are happening, but I just do it knowingly that I need it.
Yeah.
So instead of a cup of coffee, I would rather just spend an hour in the sun.
The only other thing that I would add is to connect with your community. Make sure that you're connecting with your people. Make sure that you are making an effort to connect to your friends and family. Having like strong bonds with people, especially during these times, are extremely important. They get you through, heavy negative energy. Just knowing that you have people to talk to and to trust in, and that have your back. It's really, really important.
It is. So my friends yesterday delivered my survival kit. So I have my, can you see the chocolates with dogs, and then.
Are those chocolates for your dogs or chocolates with a dog on it?
No, this is for me,
oh, okay.
But obviously it has to have a dog on it, right? And then they delivered Audrey Hepburn. She's one of my favorite actors. There's 7 movies, so I'm set. I'm not getting out of bed, and I've been taken care of.
I love it.
Perfect.
I love it. And Jim's right, by the way. If you're watching this and it is winter and you are feeling down and going through it, like, make sure you reach out to someone. Like, it's a very real thing. And reach out, stay connected. Like, reach out to us, reach out to a friend, a family, anybody. That really is important. And I take that for granted being in San Diego, because we don't have the same ups and downs for winter. But I do think people are a little more.
And get a dog. Dog always make you have to get out to walk your dog. It will, like, only reason sometimes I get out of bed is because my dogs are like ready to go.
Yeah. Your dogs need you, even though it's cold out.
Yeah.
But I
don't have a choice.
But I love that idea, because you're lean. And if you, I don't know if people necessarily want to go out and get a dog. Maybe they should, because it forces you to get outside. It forces you to develop more of a routine, which what I've listened to you guys talk about, there's a lot more conscious, strategic design to your day in the winter. There's a lot more conscious, strategic strategy to the way you're putting your rhythm together.
Yeah. There's actually some really interesting scientific studies out right now that are saying that your connection to community is so important. It can be one of the leading factors into whether or not you develop dementia.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah. Connection to, like, a strong connection to a community or a family.
Yep.
Is one of the factors that is a key factor in deciding whether or not later on in life you develop some kind of Alzheimer's or dementia.
Wow.
Jim, did they say why? Like,
yeah, but
how does it affect you?
It has to do with synapses in your brain and how strongly they connect. And the more you connect with people, the more synapses connect as you're interacting with people and being enlivened. The more the more something happens in your brain and does something.
Probably.
So this is one of the books I'm going to be reading this week when I'm staying in bed.
Yeah.
So, and I wonder if it talks about it or not. Yeah.
I was just going to say, for people who don't know, Priyanka also, as well as being a realtor and a dog lover who rescues a ton of dogs and runs a nonprofit for dogs, she also has, how many assisted living facilities do you run?
I just bought the third one and opening a fourth one.
Right. So that's another part of her world that she's very passionate about. So that'll have to be a topic for another webinar. We're wrapping up here, guys. But Kathy, who's watching, said this was super interesting info. You're welcome, Kathy. I thought this was really cool too. And anyone watching on Facebook in the LCA community, there you go. You've got another reason to be grateful for LCA, because you can plug in and say, thanks, guys. You're keeping me from getting dementia later in life. There you go. Can I make that connection? Is that too much of a stretch?
No, not at all. I'll take the credit. That's cool.
We'll have to do the research and see. Do you need like face-to-face conversations or just plugging into a community period?
I don't know. I feel pretty good about it now.
I do too. I love it. All right, well, guys, thank you for being here. This is fun. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day, which is
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Speaking of connection.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. All right, guys, enjoy your day. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.